Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is DNA repair with the help of the crystals, or actually here one crystal representing the crystalline power of toxic male-female or also female-male interactions that resulted in trauma and was passed down through both the maternal and paternal lineages. So what I have here is an egg representing the maternal and quinoa representing the seeds, so representing the paternal, right? And we absorb toxic interactions and trauma and, let's say, forceful, disharmonious sorry, interactions between our parents even before we're born, right? So even the fetus absorbs it through the womb. And again, this doesn't just have to be absorbing what goes on with the mother, but they can also sense what goes on with the father, right? The energy connection is there. And yeah, they can feel both, right? So that's why we have both of these here. And what I was also shown is that that's one of the reasons why we're not fully in our power yet, because a lot of this trauma holds us back. It keeps us down in a sense. Either we're not believing in ourselves, or it's just the sheer weight of those low vibrational energies that we still carry with us that keep us bound to those toxic patterns, to reacting from trauma again and again. So in my meditation yesterday, I saw basically ropes being tied around my arms, and I'm going to cut those. But what also popped into my head was those kind of toxic interactions that can range anywhere from sex being forced on the other partner when they don't feel well. Let's say either they're sick, or let's say if a woman is on her period or moon time and the partner just insists on having it, and that is really nowadays considered rape or borderline rape. It could also be done in a way where she's just not being left alone until she finally gives in, right? However, that kind of stuff can also happen in reverse. Let's say if the man is sick and not feeling well and the woman doesn't leave him alone, it's the same thing in reverse, right? So from those kind of forceful situations to the opposite of withholding intimacy and sexual interactions. So that could be starving someone in that sense, making them feel unwanted, undesired. If we still take it personal, right? And of course, in an intimate relationship, that is usually the case until or unless we've reached really, really high healed levels where we might understand that possibly the other person might be suffering from PTSD, or there are other medical issues why there might be no desire. So that can also be very traumatizing and damaging when a person feels constantly rejected, right? Or it could also be something where even just certain social norms and behaviors are forced upon someone. So let me give you an example. Years ago, I went to support a boyfriend I had at the time, and a whole bunch of us went to a Sundance. And I was just at the end of my moon time, so I was sent to the Moon Lodge, which was just being constructed. So they were just in the process of putting up the teepee, and there was another girl there, or young woman, who was also, or who also had to stay in the Moon Lodge. And since I was feeling perfectly fine, I was basically done, and I was always the kind of person who enjoyed being active and like also physically doing stuff. So I helped the men put it up, and they were fine with it. But afterwards, she said, "Wow, you're acting as if you weren't on your moon time." I'm like, "Well, I feel like I'm not. Like, officially I still am, but it's basically done. Like, I'm just supposed to wait out until everything is 100% gone." So that's also the kind of stuff where I feel that in quite a few cultures, there are certain social expectations and the way things are done. However, sometimes an individual doesn't have the choice to act according how they would like to act. So, for example, in Latin America, I don't know if it's in everywhere there, but I know in some areas, women are allowed to participate in spiritual ceremonies if they're on their moon time, whereas in North America, they're not. However, they then have the Moon Lodge where they do their own ceremonies. So, like, it really depends on how someone is raised and how they think about it, and what is considered acceptable or not. And when I then consider how my great-grandmother, as I was told, I never met her. She passed away when my mother was pregnant with me. But she only did the bare minimum of the housework, which was basically just cooking, when she was on her period or moon time, right? It was clear and accepted that she would not do anything strenuous during that time and that she would rest as needed, right? So she was able to decide what was okay for her to do or not. And also when I was in high school, after a certain point, us girls, we were given kind of like a pass where once a month we could miss 1 week of gym class. We could sit it out if we felt so, right? So that was our choice. We could participate or we could sit it out. It was not forced upon us. However, we had the choice, right? So in my opinion, that is a much better approach, that each individual can decide for themselves, depending on how they feel, what they would like to do or not, rather than having it forced and imposed on them, right? So that's also part of what we're healing from. Anything that is forced upon people where it is not a, how should I put this? Like, it's not a liberal flow of just going with the situations, but when people are still rigid and forceful, that's basically being in those dark energies, those dark unhealed energies. Whereas if we're really in the divine energies, we just go with the flow and everything is just natural, right? So anyhow, let's smudge and get started, and then I'll call in our divine team. Oh, sorry. And one other thing that I just remembered as I was lighting this. At some point, a native man gave me a ride, and when I was on my moon time, and he had a braid of sweetgrass sitting on the dashboard, and I picked it up, and I was like, "Oh, cool! You have sweetgrass there." And he said, "No, you're not supposed to touch anything when you're on your moon time. Now I have to smudge it," and blah 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 blah. Right? So that is a classic example of a toxic reaction. First of all, medicine doesn't need to be smudged. It's already healing. Secondly, it's being on your moon time is not leprosy. And third of all, there's a much nicer way of communicating the rigid beliefs that some people might have, and showing, how should I put this politely, showing a little bit more compassion when someone doesn't know all the rules of a particular culture. That was at the very beginning before I got into any of this, right? So yeah, it's all this toxicity and rigidity that often comes from a lot of trauma, and I understand where it comes from. Oh, and the picture just jumped out again. So being more detached. So becoming more detached from the trauma and the stuff that actually happened to people. So when there was a lot of abuse that happened, and let's say people became disconnected from their own culture based on what happened historically and what was done to their culture by the government that conquered, then sometimes people become very rigid and they hold on to certain things in a way that is not of divine energies, but of dark desperation, right? And I don't mean to offend anyone here. I hope no one takes offense to what I just verbalized here. I'm trying to explain how when someone is very unhealed and full of trauma, then they are not coming from a good place. And then sometimes things can really be misunderstood or blown out of proportion, or someone can be yelled at in a context where it's completely inappropriate, right? Like also, I think in one of the very first ceremonies I went to, I was yelled at because I wasn't holding something the way that I was supposed to, but nobody had really explained it to me. So those are the kind of scenarios where people can just really come from trauma, and it comes out in a very toxic, unhealed way, which is the opposite of divine, right? Okay, anyway, let's smudge. So let me light this again. This is about to fall off. Okay, please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies, and take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed, and help us heal from all the trauma that was passed down to us through our lineages, anything especially related to I want to say intergender interactions, but by that I mean between genders. So male, female, traditionally speaking, right? Nowadays we also have more gender fluidity, but historically speaking, that wasn't really the case, right? So yeah, healing from any and all gender interactions were, there was a lot of toxicity and then resulting trauma and control, power, and so on. Thank you. So help us heal from all of that in this ceremony, even before calling in our divine team. Let us state that clearly and help us move away from that, let it go, and recenter ourselves, ground ourselves, reconnect to our own inner divinity and that all around us, as well as through that help us be in oneness with all of creation. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. All right, dear Creator, higher power, source and soul energy, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, and water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe that are of the light. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. Let us take a moment to give thanks and express our gratitude for all the blessings in our lives. Blessings for being able to rest when we need to rest, if we have that luxury or that flexibility in our schedule. And gratitude for a positive work environment for all those of us where it applies. Thank you for warm and fostering support that we get from various people and sources. Even if it's just from our spirit team, and by just, I mean that in quotation marks, okay, air quotes, because it's actually a lot and very important. But a lot of times we think more of immediate 3D stuff, right? And thank you for letting us have the pleasure and the privilege of being in this early ascension process, regardless of the challenges that sometimes that we sometimes face. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to give thanks for seeing more clearly the improvement and the difference in how far I've come already. I have recently taken much more note of people complaining a lot where I didn't notice it before, because I was still more stuck in that mode of complaining as well. And that is very common when we're going through the dark night of our soul and when we're still stuck in low vibrations from all the stuff that happened in our lives, and we're still kind of in victim mentality, even if we feel that we've learned from it and it helped us evolve, but we might still somehow feel a bit like a victim, right? So thank you for making it clear how far along I've already come, and I know many of you as well. Even just watching this channel, clearly you have already come a long enough way to actively work on your healing rather than, let's say, I don't know, 1, 5, 10, 15 years ago, maybe. I'm not sure what your timeline is, but when maybe you weren't awake yet, right? When you weren't aware of a lot of this stuff yet. So, thank you. And thank you to all of our ancestors who have already passed away, who we knew in this lifetime, right? So this might have been parents or grandparents or other relatives that we might have felt close to that passed away and that are now helping us from the spirit realm. So I actually want to give a special thanks to all of those today. Sometimes I forget to really verbalize that. And this could also be any other loved ones. This could have been a past partner, or some of you might have even lost children, or someone else you were really close to, right? So even if, like, I'm feeling pain now, and I feel it's actually the pain from the collective. So even if we still carry a lot of pain about some of those connections that we lost in the 3D, we do know that the connection continues in the spirit realm, in the energy field, right? So they're still helping us and protecting us. And actually what I do want to quickly share is, after my dad passed away, the first 4 days especially, he blocked the dark stuff that was coming at me very, very strongly. I didn't feel any of it at all. And I just told him that I would be okay. I would learn to protect myself because I didn't want him to stay stuck, right? So I wanted him to move into the light. And I know that he did. So, yeah, thank you. So I guess maybe there was also a bit of a personal bit of emotions in there. Even though I feel like I've completed mourning him. But maybe with all of this coming up, yeah, it was just the depth of emotions that kind of came out again. Okay, anyway, thank you to our entire divine team. Thank you so, so much for helping us. So especially now that we're trying to heal our lineages from all this toxicity between genders, all this forced, these forced rigid ways of being, living, interacting, viewing the other gender. Like classic examples are like, oh, men don't do this, oh, women don't do this, right? Boys don't cry, girls don't fix things, boys don't cook, and whatever, or men, you know. Those are all the old antiquated traditional ways of how genders had divided the roles. And especially in Western countries, we have pretty much overcome that a while ago, but some of that might still be lingering. But in some countries, that is still very much active as well, right? So let us heal from all of this. And somehow I feel like I want to actually, I don't know how to actually heal this. I can drink the egg raw, but I don't really want to eat the quinoa raw. But I feel like I can actually put it in the candle. I'm not sure how well that will burn down, but I feel like that was my instinct of just putting it in here. I might just end up putting out the candle and putting the entire thing in the next fire. We'll see how that goes. But let us start with the paternal lineage. Let us heal and let our entire DNA be repaired and healed from any and all trauma that was passed down, and any toxicity, any toxic patterns, anything that was passed down through our paternal lineage shall now and forever be healed, repaired, and okay, I'm gonna put this around here since I can't put it all in, but I feel like that has to go in. Let all of that be healed and infused. Oh, look, the wax went straight on there. Let us send pure crystal and divine light energies into that paternal lineage. Let it completely flood, fill, and surround all of this with massive amounts of pure divine light, pure divine essence, pure divine unconditional love, to heal all that trauma, all that pain, all that suffering, also all the burden of what was placed upon men, all the expectations that were put on men as the providers, that shall be healed. Things shall be shared. So the feminine actually does have to go in there as well. Let also our DNA and all trauma, hurt, pain, and suffering that was passed down from our maternal lineage be healed. Let the toxicity be scrambled. Oh, it almost just looked like yin and yang there for a moment. I don't know if you could see it, but sorry. Let all the male and female energies combine in all of us, and let everything now be done in a truly shared way based on who we are as a person, not based on gender. So it could be that maybe she's better at fixing things and maybe he's better at cooking, so then they will, you know, share the rules accordingly. Or maybe they want to do everything together, like my dad and stepmom used to do. They would cook together and repair things together. But let us fully and completely heal our lineages, our maternal and paternal lineages, from any and all damaged DNA. Let us receive all the crystalline help and support and healing for fully and completely repairing our DNA back to fully functional 12-strand DNA. And let, from now on, all the roles be shared, and let there be no more judgment, no more gender division. Let all of that become one. Let it be harmonized. Let there be true harmony between all romantic partners involved who share intimacy, especially on a physical level. Let the true yin and yang restore balance, and let all the love that was conditional be reversed. Thank you. One moment, please. Where's my reversal card? It seems like the reversal crank is put away right now. Okay, no problem. Let it all be reversed. Ah, here it is. Haha, just as I thought we had it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let all the conditional love and the trauma and hurt, pain, and suffering caused by it be reversed. And with that, let us be freed from all this toxicity, from all the toxic patterns that we were still bound to, that bound us, that kept our powers bound and limited. Let us now be unbound and free to fully and completely take our power back. We shall be fully and completely in our personal power. I feel like I need to mix that better. Sorry, one sec. We shall be fully and completely in our personal power and be fully and completely in charge of our own lives now and forever. All right. And let us now be fully and completely disconnected from those old toxic patterns and the connected trauma that kept us bound. And let all the dark magic that was put on us and that we also put on ourselves by not breaking these patterns now fully and completely be broken and finished and removed throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And that shall be applied physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, genetically, and karmically. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Oh, boo. Oops. All right, everyone. Anyone who would like to stay in these energies a bit longer, please pause the video. For the rest of us, let the ceremony now be finished, and let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us massively safe, shielded, and protected by a divine, massive, golden, divine light, and shield us with a divine seal of protection. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of this ceremony, and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. I totally and absolutely appreciate you being here and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And if it helped you, please drop a comment down below. I very much love reading about it. And for anyone who would like to support the channel further, there's a PayPal link down below. And if you would like to join the Facebook page, Allemanic Shaman, please do so. All the information is down below. And in the meantime, until in about mid-late September, we get the support circle started. I'm sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye.